Assalamu alaikum my dear friends, students and YouTube viewers. In my previous videos, I have taught you first and second poem of 12th standard, and in my this video, I would like to teach you third poem, that is subunit 2.3, The Inchcape Rock. So first of all, I would like to give a brief introduction of the poet. The Inchcape Rock. This poem is written by famous English poet Robert Southey. Robert Southey, born in 1774 in Bristol, England, and died in 1843 in London. Robert Southey was a poet, a historian, a biographer, and essayist. रॉबर्ट साउदी एक अच्छे शायर, एसेस मजमून निगार, बायोग्राफर जिसको हम कहते हैं सवाने निगार, और एक हिस्टोरियन तारीख नवीस रहे हैं. एंड रॉबर्ट साउदी वॉज एसोसिएटेड विद द रोमांटिक लिटरेरी मूवमेंट और रोमांटिक स्कूल ऑफ इंग्लिश पोएट्री. हिज फेमस पोएम्स आर द स्कॉलर, द बैटल ऑफ ब्लैनहिम एंड द इंचकेप रॉक. After the short introduction of the poet Robert Southey, now I am going to tell you some important fact about the type of this poem, Inchcape Rock. Dear students, this poem is the longest poem of your textbook, which has 17 stanzas, and each stanza has 4 lines. Means this poem is written in the form of quatrain, and the rhyme scheme is A A B B. But the most important fact about this poem is that this poem is a ballad. What is a ballad? Ballad is a type of English poetry. ये ballad जो है ये इंग्लिश शायरी की एक किस्म है. जैसे हमारी उर्दू शायरी की मुख्तलिफ अक़साम होती है, उसी तरह इंग्लिश शायरी की एक किस्म है जिसको ballad कहा जाता है. Now I am going to tell you definition of ballad. Ballad is a long narrative poem which tells a story and which is used as a musical song. Dear student, actually the word ballad had been taken from the Latin word ballare. Ballare means dancing song. तो मैंने डेफिनेशन क्या कही है बैलाड की? बैलाड एक लंबी नज़्म होती है जिसमें कि किसी एक कहानी को पेश किया जाता है और आमतौर पर इसको म्यूजिकल सॉन्ग के तौर पर इस्तेमाल किया जाता है. तो ये होती है बैलड. सो दिस पोएम द इंचकेप रॉक इज अ बैलड. नाउ आफ्टर अंडरस्टैंडिंग द टाइप ऑफ दिस पोएम, पे अटेंशन टू द टाइटल ऑफ दिस पोएम, द इंचकेप रॉक. इट इज नथिंग बट द नेम ऑफ अ रॉक इन द ओशियन और इन द सी. ये समंदर में पाई जाने वाली एक चट्टान का नाम है, विच इज नियर फ्रॉम द स्कॉटलैंड और विच इज़ नियर फ्रॉम द कोस्ट ऑफ स्कॉटलैंड. जो स्कॉटलैंड के पास के किनारे पर एक ये 18 किलोमीटर दूर स्कॉटलैंड से एक चट्टान है समंदर के अंदर, उसका नाम है इंचकेप रॉक. एंड द होल स्टोरी ऑफ दिस पोएम मूव्स अराउंड दिस इंचकेप रॉक. नाउ अंडरस्टैंड द सेंट्रल थीम ऑफ द पोएम. You can easily understand the central theme of this poem by understanding various English proverbs. Dear students, first of all, understand what is the meaning of the word proverb. Proverb को हम उर्दू में कहते हैं कहावत. Simply you can say that proverb means short saying which has a piece of advice or universal truth. एक छोटा सा जुमला जो किसी ने कहा था जिसमें कोई एडवाइस जो नसीहत की जाए या कोई बड़ी सच्चाई बयान की जाए, उसको हम कहावत कहते हैं और इसी को इंग्लिश में कहते हैं प्रोवर्ब. सो नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू टेल यू अ फ्यू इंग्लिश प्रोवर्ब, and by understanding these proverbs you can easily understand the central theme of this poem. Listen the first proverb, and the proverb is also shown on the screen. As you sow, so shall you reap. जैसा बोओगे वैसा काटोगे. Second proverb is tit for tat, जैसे को तैसा. Third proverb is crime gets its own punishment. हर जुर्म की अपनी एक सज़ा होती है. And fourth and last proverb is evil digs a pit for others but falls into the same. जो दूसरों के लिए गड़ा खोदता है वो खुद उस गड़े में गिर जाता है. All these proverbs have the same central theme, and the theme is that those who do wrong things will meet with due punishment. जो भी बुरा करता है वो उसका नतीजा खुद भुगतता है. यही इस नज़म का मैसेज है. We can say that this poem is about the struggle that always goes on between good forces and evil forces. In this struggle, for some time, evil forces seems to be winning, but at the end, evil forces are punished by the divine, and the same things happen in this poem. इस दुनिया में हमेशा अच्छाई और बुराई की जंग होती है. दरमियान में कभी बुराई जीतती हुई भी नजर आती है, लेकिन आखिरकार बुराई का अंजाम बुरा होता है और अच्छाई की जीत होती है. यही इस नज़म का मैसेज है. सेम थिंग हैपन्स इन द पोएम. इन दिस पोएम सर रैल्फ रोवर symbolizes the evil forces, and Abbot of Aberbrothok symbolizes or stands for the good forces. Now I am going to explain each stanza of this poem. Now I am going to read the first stanza of the poem from your textbook, page number 104. That is also shown on the screen. Listen and try to understand the first stanza of the poem. No stir in the air, no stir in the sea, the ship was as still as she could be. Her sails from heaven received no motion, her keel was steady in the ocean. It is the first stanza of this poem, and this stanza is very simple. In this stanza there is nothing but the description of the climate or environment. इसमें कुछ भी नहीं है, सिर्फ उसने climate का और environment को एक दिन के पेश किया है. Now see the first line of the stanza. No stir in the air, no stir in the sea. Here one word is new for you, that is stir. Stir means movement, हरकत. No stir in the air, no stir in the sea, the ship was as still as she could be. The poet says that at that particular day there was no movement in the air and there was no movement in the waves of the ocean or in the waves of the sea. Hence the ship was also motionless, or the ship was as still as a standing lady. Her sails from heaven received no motion. Her sails. What is sail? Sail is a piece of cloth or pieces of cloth which are connected to the ship, which are shown on the screen. और उर्दू में उसके लिए बादबान का लफ्ज़ इस्तेमाल करते हैं, and which play an important role in the movement of the ship. So the poet is saying that because there was no movement in the air and no movement in the sea, so the sails of the ship were also motionless. Her sails from heaven. Heaven, it is metaphorically here used for sky or for air. यहाँ पर हेवन से मुराद कोई जन्नत नहीं है, बल्कि इससे मुराद हवा या आसमान से आने वाली ठंडी हवा है. तो वहाँ पर कोई हवा नहीं चल रही थी, कश्ती बिल्कुल स्टिल खड़ी हुई थी और उसके बादबान में कोई हरकत नहीं हो रही थी. हर कील वॉज स्टीडी इन द ओशियन. कील, इट इज़ अ पार्ट ऑफ द शिप. सी द पिक्चर ऑन द स्क्रीन. कील इज द लोएस्ट पार्ट or metallic body or metallic piece which support to the whole structure of the ship. That is keel. Her keel was steady. Steady means without any motion. The waves were motionless, so the ship was still and her keel was steady in the ocean. Here we have completed the first stanza of the poem, which is very simple, and in this nothing but the description of climate, description of environment at a particular day. जिसमें उसने बताया है कि वो हवा भी नहीं थी, समंदर में पूरी तरह खामोशी थी, जहाज़ भी उसमें पूरी तरह से खामोश खड़ा था, उसके सेल में, उसके कील में कोई हरकत नहीं हो रही थी. सो हेयर वी हैव कंप्लीटेड द फर्स्ट स्टैंजा ऑफ द पोएम. नाउ वी विल डिस्कस वेरियस पोएटिक डिवाइसेस और वेरियस फिगर्स ऑफ स्पीच which are present in the first stanza. See the first line of the stanza. No stir in the air, no stir in the sea. No stir, no stir, these two words are repeated two times, so it is the example of repetition. When the whole word, one word or more than one words are repeated in the same line, it is called repetition. So it is the example of repetition. In the same line, there is also another figure of speech, and which is most commonly found figure of speech in English language, that is alliteration. What is alliteration? Alliteration means repeated consonant sound at the beginning of various words in the same line. In this line, S of stir, S of stir and S of C. S is repeated at the beginning of 3 words, so it is the example of alliteration. Now see the second line of the first stanza. The ship was as still as she could be. In this line there are also 2 poetic devices. First is simile. Simile, sanat tashbih. In this line, the ship is directly compared with a woman standing still, because in this line the word she is used for ship. So direct comparison is called simile. When direct comparison is made between 2 things by using as or like these words, it is called simile. Here as words are used and ship is directly compared to a woman. So this line is the example of simile. Similarly, this line is also example of personification. What is personification? This is new poetic device for you. What is personification? Personification means person से बना है personification. Simple, हम उसको उर्दू में तजसीम कह सकते हैं. Now understand the definition of personification. When human characteristics are given to non-living thing or abstract ideas, it is called personification. When abstract ideas or inanimate objects are treated as a human being, or human characteristics are assigned to them, are given to them, it is called personification. Simple एक example मैं आपको देता हूँ. Fear knocked at the door. खौफ ने दरवाजे पर दस्तक दी. दस्तक देना एक काम है जो इंसान करता है, लेकिन यहाँ पर खौफ क्या है? It is abstract idea. So here abstract idea is treated as a human being. It is called personification. So in this line, the ship is treated as a standing woman. So it is the example of personification. And here she, this pronoun is used for not only for woman but for the ship. So ship is treated as a woman and pronoun she is used for ship. So it is the example of personification. Now see the third line of the stanza. Her sails from heaven received no motion. Here heaven का असली मतलब जन्नत होता है, but here it is used as a metaphor. इस्तेआरा. metaphor मैं आपको यहाँ से बता चुका हूँ कि metaphor means when indirect comparison is made between 2 things without using as like these words. So here heaven is used for sky, heaven is used for wind. हवा के लिए या आसमान के लिए यहाँ पर ये यूज़ किया गया है. तो ये कुछ पोएटिक डिवाइसेस थी जो इस फर्स्ट स्टेंजा में पोएट ने यूज़ की हैं. द सेकंड स्टेंजा ऑफ द पोएम. विदाउट ईदर साइन और साउंड ऑफ देयर शॉक द वेव्स फ्लोड ओवर द इंचकेप रॉक. So little they rose, so little they fell, they did not move the Inchcape bell. This second stanza, there is no new word in the whole stanza. In this stanza, there is no new word or there is no difficult word for you. Very simple stanza, and it is nothing but the continuation of the first stanza. Now see the first line of the second stanza. Without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape rock. The poet is saying that the waves of the ocean moves very slowly, very smoothly over the Inchcape rock. The waves were flowed, so the waves flowed over the Inchcape rock very silently without creating any sound. So little they rose the past tense of rise, and so little they fell. They are used for the waves of the sea. समंदर की लहरें थोड़ा सा ऊपर उठ रही थी और थोड़ा सा नीचे गिर रही, मतलब उनमें बहुत ज़्यादा मूवमेंट नहीं थी और इसीलिए वो इंचकेप रॉक पर भी कोई साउंड प्रोड्यूस नहीं कर रही थी. दे डिड नॉट मूव द इंचकेप बेल. व्हाट इज इंचकेप बेल? देयर वाज अ वार्निंग बेल प्लेस्ड ऑन द टॉप ऑफ द इंचकेप रॉक बाय अ काइंड पर्सन. व्हाट वाज द एक्चुअल मैटर? आई विल टेल यू इन द during the explanation of the next stanza. Here we have completed the second stanza of the poem. Now see the poetic devices. See the third line of this stanza. So little they rose, so little they fell. So little, both words are repeated 2 times, so it is the example of repetition. And this line is also example of antithesis. Anti means opposite, thesis means idea, जिसको हम उर्दू में कहते हैं सनत तजाद. In this line there are 2 words, rose and fall. Rise and fall. Rise मतलब उभारना, fall यानी गिरना. These are 2 opposite words or 2 contrasting ideas which are placed in 2 statements and in the same line. So it is called antithesis. What is antithesis? When 2 opposite words or when 2 contrasting ideas are represented in the same line in 2 statements, it is called antithesis. So this line is the example of antithesis. Now see the third stanza of the poem. The abbot of Aberbrothock had placed the bell on the Inchcape rock. On a buoy in the storm it floated and swung, and o'er the waves its warning rung. See the first line, abbot. The meaning of abbot is given in your textbook. Abbot means head of abbey of monks. In simple words, abbot means you can say priest or pope of the church. पादरी हम चर्च का जिसको कह सकते हैं या पुजारी. And I have previously mentioned that abbot of Aberbrothock in this poem stands for the good forces. He was a kind person. He was a priest, a pope who placed a bell, a warning bell on the top of the Inchcape rock. Now understand what was the actual matter. Dear students, there was a reef in that sea, in that ocean. There was a reef. What is reef? Reef means a long line of mountains or rock 18 kilometers away from the eastern coast of Scotland. स्कॉटलैंड से 18 किलोमीटर के जो ईस्टर्न किनारा है उससे 18 किलोमीटर की दूरी पर समंदर के अंदर एक पहाड़ी सिलसिला या एक चट्टान थी जो बहुत बड़ी चट्टान थी. इन द स्टॉर्मी वेदर व्हेन वेव्स rose very high, the rock became invisible and many ships used to strike or used to hit that rock and accident took place. Many ships were damaged and many sailors lost their lives. वहाँ पर जब तूफान होता, लहरें बहुत ज़्यादा आती तो वो चट्टान अंदर नज़र नहीं आती और जहाज़ उससे टकरा जाते हैं जिसकी वजह से जहाज़ ख़त्म हो जाते, उसके अंदर के लोग मारे जाते. सो द एबट ऑफ एबरब्रोथॉक, the priest or the pope, who was a kind person, who was a spiritual person, he placed a warning bell on the top of the Inchcape rock to prevent those accidents and to save the lives of various sailors. So see the line, the abbot of Aberbrothock had placed the bell on the Inchcape rock, which was used as the warning bell. In the first two lines of this stanza, the poet is saying that abbot of Aberbrothock, who was a kind person, placed a warning bell on the top of the Inchcape rock to prevent the sailors, to prevent the ships. On a buoy, buoy is a new word for you. See the picture. Buoy is nothing but a floating object anchored in the sea to mark dangerous places. And on this buoy there was the Inchcape bell, the ringing bell. On a buoy in the storm मतलब तूफान, it floated and swung. वो एक बलून की शक्ल का buoy जो है बलून की शक्ल का एक स्ट्रक्चर था. जब तूफान आता तो क्या होता? It floated and swung. Swung is the past tense of swing. वो घूमता, फ्लोट होता, तैरता. And over the waves its warning rung. और फिर वो लहरों के ऊपर सवार होकर Inchcape bell को हरकत देता. And the bell rung. और वो बेल बज जाती एज अ वार्निंग बेल और बहुत सारे लोग उससे खतरे से आगाह हो जाते. Here we have completed the third stanza of this poem. Now see poetic devices. See the third line of this stanza. On a buoy in the storm it floated and swung. This line is example of inversion. Inversion, it's a new poetic device or figure of speech for you. What is meant by invert? इन्वर्ट मतलब तब्दील करना, इन्वर्ट. लिसन द डेफिनेशन ऑफ इन्वर्जन. इन्वर्जन मीन्स when the correct sequence or correct order of a sentence or of a line is inverted by the poet, it is called inversion. जब किसी सेंटेंस की जो करेक्ट ऑर्डर होती है, जो सीक्वेंस होती है, सीक्वेंस हम जानते हैं पहले सब्जेक्ट फिर वर्ब फिर ऑब्जेक्ट, इस तरह से सीक्वेंस सेंटेंस की होती है. लेकिन जब इस सेंटेंस की सीक्वेंस को आगे पीछे कर दिया जाता है तो इसको इन्वर्जन कहा जाता है. सी दिस लाइन, ऑन अ बॉय इन द स्टॉर्म इट फ्लोटेड एंड swung. The actual sequence of this line is that in the storm it floated and swung on a boy. ये उसकी एक्चुअल सीक्वेंस थी लेकिन उसको बदल कर दिया गया. On a boy in the storm it floated and swung. So it is the example of inversion. Now see the fourth stanza of the poem. I am going to read the stanza from your textbook. When the rock was hid by the surge swell, the mariners heard the warning bell, and then they knew the perilous rock and blessed the abbot of Aberbrothock. When the rock was hid is the past tense of hide, छुप जाना, ठीक है. By the surge swell meaning of this word is given in your textbook. Sudden and great rise in the level of sea, तेजी के साथ समंदर के पानी का, उसके लहरों का ऊपर उठ जाना, ठीक है. तो जब भी लहरें बहुत तेज़ हो जाती, तूफान आ जाता, तो क्या होता, वो उसके पीछे वो रॉक छुप जाती. एंड द मरीनर्स हर्ड द वार्निंग बेल. मरीनर्स मीन्स सिंपली सेलर्स, समंदर में सफ़र करने वाले मल्ला लोग, ठीक है. द मरीनर्स हर्ड द वार्निंग बेल. और होता क्या, इस लहरों की वजह से वार्निंग बेल बज जाती. और उसकी वजह से क्या होता, एंड देन दे न्यू द पेरिलस रॉक. पेरिलस मीन्स डेंजरस, हजार्डस. और उनको पता चल जाता कि वहाँ पर वो डेंजरस रॉक मौजूद है. And blessed the abbot of Aberbrothock. Blessed is nothing but the past form of bless. To bless, दुआ देना. तो जैसी उनकी ज़िंदगियाँ बच जाती है तो सारे लोग क्या करते हैं, they bless the abbot of Aberbrothock who plays the bell on the top of the Inchcape Rock. And the warning bell saved the lives of mariners. They bless the abbot of Aberbrothock for his good deed. Here we have completed fourth stanza. I am explaining stanzas very rapidly because this poem is very long, and I am also explaining all things in Urdu. There is no important figure of speech or poetic device in this stanza. Only examples of alliteration are found in this stanza, and you can easily find out those examples. So I don't want to waste my time by explaining all examples of alliteration. Now see the next stanza of the poem, that is stanza number 5th. I am reading the stanza. The sun in heaven was shining gay, all things were joyful on that day. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled round, and there was joyance in their sound. First line, the sun in heaven was shining gay. Gay, this word you have read in your previous poem, Indian Weavers. Gay means bright. The sun in heaven, it is used as a metaphor. Here heaven is used as a metaphor for sky. The sun in heaven was shining gay. The poet is saying that at that particular day the sun was shining and the sun was very bright. All things were joyful on that day. उस दिन सब चीज़ें बिल्कुल joyful नज़र आ रही थी. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled round. In this line there are two new words for you. First is screamed. Scream means what? Scream means to make a loud sound, ज़ोरदार आवाज़ निकालना, ठीक है. As they wheeled round. Wheeled round means making circles. So in this line the poet is saying that the seabirds were also very happy, were also very joyful, and to express their happiness they screamed and they made a circle and they screamed to express their happiness. वो अपनी खुशियाँ बताने के लिए सी बर्ड्स जो है वो अपनी खुशी का इजहार करने के लिए वो एक सर्कल बनाकर राउंड में जो है वो घूम कर वो चहक रहे थे. and there was joyance in their sound. Joyance means happiness, and there was joyance in their sound. और उनके साउंड में एक तरह से हैप्पीनेस झलक रही थी. In this line there is one poetic device which I have already explained, that in the first line heaven is used as a metaphor for sky. So in this stanza there is nothing but the description of beautiful and happy climate of that particular day when the incident took place. Now see the next stanza. The boy of the Inchcape Bell was seen a darker speck on the ocean green. Sir Ralph the rower walked his deck and he fixed his eye on the darker speck. The boy, what is boy? I have already mentioned. Boy is a floating object. On that object the bell was placed. The boy of the Inchcape Bell was seen a darker speck. Speck means a dark dot on the ocean green. यहां पर वो क्या बता रहा है कि इंचकेप बेल उस ग्रीन समंदर में कैसे नजर आ रहा था, जैसे उसके अंदर एक काला छोटा सा धब्बा हो. चट्टान पर जो बॉय या जो बेल थी वो एक काले धब्बे की तरह नजर आ रही थी. सो द बॉय ऑफ द इंचकेप बेल वॉज सीन अ डार्कर स्पैक ऑन द ओशियन ग्रीन. सर रैल्फ द रोअर. व्हाट इज मीन बाय रोअर? रोअर मीन्स रोअर इज अ पर्सन who spent his time in wandering here and there, जिसको हम कहते हैं घूमने फिरने का आदी होना, रोअर. ठीक है. सर रैल्फ, आई हैव ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लेन्ड, आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू दैट सर रैल्फ स्टैंड्स इन दिस पोएम एज द इविल फोर्स. he represents evil forces in this poem. So Sir Ralph was a rower और अ पायरेट. पायरेट मीन्स समंदरी लुटेरा, लुटेरा हम इसको कह सकते हैं. ठीक है. और यही इसका कहानी का विलन है. इसको अब यहाँ पर उसने इंट्रोड्यूस किया है कि वो ग्रीन समंदर में वो डॉट की तरह वो इंचकेप बेल नजर आ रही थी. एंड सर रैल्फ द रोअर, वॉक्ड इज द पास्ट टेंस ऑफ वॉक. हिज डेक, डेक इज द अपर पार्ट ऑफ द शिप. सर रैल्फ द रोअर वॉक्ड हिज डेक एंड ही फिक्स्ड हिज आई ऑन द डार्कर स्पेक. वो जो था सर रैल्फ, वो कहां पर, ही वॉज वर्किंग ऑन द डेक ऑफ हिज शिप. वो अपने शिप के ऊपर हिस्से में घूम रहा था. एंड ही फिक्स्ड हिज आई ऑन द डार्कर स्पेक. डार्कर स्पेक हेयर यूज मेटाफर, हेयर यूज एज अ मेटाफर फॉर द इंचकेप बेल. तो उसने अपनी निगाहें कहां टिका दी, उस इंचकेप बेल पर. सो इन द फिफ्थ स्टैंजा द पोएट introduced the villain of this story, who was Sir Ralph the Rower, who was the sea pirate, samandari lutera, who walking on the deck of his ship, and he saw the Inchcape Bell as a dark speck, and he fixed his eyes on that Inchcape Bell. Here we have completed 5 stanzas of this poem. I told you that it is the longest poem of your textbook, and this poem consists of 17 stanzas. So remaining stanzas we will complete in our next video. Thank you all of you.